You think it's going to take your job, you're going to see millions of posts that are talking about it taking your job. Yeah, just because like AI can even create content on that now. If you don't have systems, you got to start there, because without systems, you just create exponential chaos.
Self-awareness is actually the fastest way an AI could even help you. All right, guys, we got a return guest here. And before we start the episode, genuine thank you. I do want to say that at the time of doing our podcast, I was intrigued that this guy was going to come talk to me about AI. I would say I was dabbling. I was using ChatGPT. We were building a lot of knowledge bases.
Yeah.
But I would say that was a pivotal podcast in terms of changing the entire trajectory of how I looked at the future. And then on top of that, I was very grateful to leave that podcast with excitement, not fear. And before we even start this podcast, I just want to have a moment of gratitude. Dude, thank you.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. You know, and I think that's just one thing is, if you want to be afraid of this, they'll give you millions of reasons to be afraid of it, especially like the way the algorithms work, I'm sure you know. Yeah. If you think it's going to take your job, you're going to see millions of posts that are talking about it taking your job. Yeah, just because like AI can even create content on that now, and they know what your fears are. But if you look at it of excitement, you'll find millions of reasons to be excited about it.
So for anyone who hasn't seen the original episode, can you just give everyone an idea of basically what your company does? And even since we last spoke 2 years ago, I mean, how much has changed? A lot, I'm assuming?
Yeah, no, it's changed a lot. You know, what we really specialize in is in the real estate industry. Pretty much just solving problems for real estate agents, identifying the key points in their business. And I like to say profitable, not possible, right? Because if you live in the realm of possible, as you know now, anything is possible with AI.
You can play with that thing forever.
You can do anything. And it's like real estate agents, you make money by talking to people. So how do we build systems that allow you to talk to more people?
One thing I just noticed here, you said we find the problems and we fix it. That was way faster and sharper than the first time I talked to you about this. I remember it was, we have all these AI solutions, we do all of this. What has changed about the nature of just helping business owners in the last 2 years?
What's really changed is what the technology is able to do. It's not so much more of like figuring out how to build it, figuring out how to put it together, because it can do that essentially for you. So it really comes down to, can you clearly identify the problem you are looking to solve? And a lot of times that takes more time than actually building anything, right? It's being able to say, what is your real problem? They'll be like, oh, marketing. Okay, what in marketing is your problem? And then like going deep into that. Do you have systems built into this? If you don't have systems, you got to start there, because without systems, you just create exponential chaos. So it's just really, what takes the most amount of time is clearly identifying the problem and what's already working for them. That's usually the biggest hurdle now.
One of the questions I want to go through here is we're going to talk about skill files in terms of tech, but I want to talk about human skills for a second, because I think a huge shift that's happening right now is there's the quote that math people are now losing to word people. And when I thought about that quote, I was like, it's also a little bit deeper, that the skills that would make someone win in business in 2019, I don't think are the same skill sets in 2026. So the biggest observation I've seen is self-awareness is no longer something that helps relationships in like in a counseling sense. I think to what you're saying, self-awareness is actually the fastest way an AI could even help you.
Yeah, and you know, I think it's interesting too, because I'm looking at this as like there's survivorship. I forget the exact word for it, but it was during World War II, and like the bombers would fly out and some would get shot down and some would fly back. What would happen is the planes that came back were all shot up on the wings and the tail. What most people said is let's arm for the wings and the tail. But the one engineer came and said, no, those planes made it back. The planes that didn't make it back were shot in the engines. So that's where you really have to bolster. And we all know we need to go into AI. And I'm almost looking at that as the wings and the tail, where these AI systems are going to get so smart and so intricate, where they're going to be accessible to everybody. What is your 10% that AI cannot replace? And I really, we're leaning really big into it with agents with that is your critical thinking, your negotiating skills. Are you able to articulate what you do differently? Because AI will give people an answer. It will tell them how much their home can probably cost, comps, nearby, all the information. That's all accessible because agents and business owners aren't the only one with this information. The whole world is getting AI.
It's an even playing field now.
Yeah, it's an even playing field.
I'm actually more curious about, and if your brother has input, I'd want to hear it. So I see so often that, like you and I, we make our money solving the problem for someone else.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even until I would say October of last year that I had a really bad problem where I was like, I actually need AI for me. And I kind of took the hat of agreement out of the window, deliverable out the window. And what actually had happened was I had hired the wrong bookkeeper. Yep.
I've been there, dude. Oh, yeah.
And so I basically find out on, I think it was October 2nd, that there was about 35K of missing invoices that I was just thinking were paid.
Yeah.
And luckily, I want to give a shout out to all of our clients. You guys are awesome people. You didn't have to pay that, but you did. And I appreciate it dearly. But it was the first time I realized like the most intimate data, which is like the literal money in and money out, was actually my engine.
Yeah.
And I'm focusing on all these wings and I'm all the tails. And what it forced me to do was actually go into what I was tracking and what I wasn't. And I'm actually very curious from your side, what's been a Nick or your company fix? Not something for your clients, but when was the first time you had to really slow down and go, holy shit, if I don't have this engine to help me, I may not fix this problem?
I would say, does it have to be related to AI?
Not at all.
100% the numbers, without a question. You know, one of my mentors always said, you don't fall in love with the numbers until you fall in love with the numbers. And I didn't know what that meant because I'm like, I'll never love the numbers. But it's more of an intimate relationship with them. Really tracking where every penny and every dollar is going, having all of the sheets. And now we sit down every single Friday, we go over the numbers, we know exactly where money's going in, exactly where money's going out, understanding the metrics in each funnel, and just really getting down to the raw data. Because that's when it's an intimate relationship. I don't have to love the numbers, but like I know them intimately.
Do you sleep better knowing the numbers?
Oh, I sleep so much better because sometimes I know we'd make money, but it's like, I don't know how. And it's like, hey, we brought in a bunch of money. And then sometimes we'd have big revenue, but not a lot of profit. I'm like, well, where did all of it go? And if you don't know, you just simply don't know.
And that, yeah, and that's the thing that I remember thinking so often is I was like, this is going to be stressful. I'm going to have a bad day if I check all this stuff. And actually it was the inverse.
Yeah.
So in October was, I would call it, you know, code red. I have to fix everything. This is fucked. I need to take my own responsibility. And what was really cool from that was I just opened up about it, made a long form video, and I actually had a lot of people that knew me, never worked together, go, dude, I need that right now.
Yeah.
And it was the first time where this like robot CFO, as I called it, it started as a custom GPT.
Yeah.
It actually entered a new service realm that I was like, wait a second, this isn't marketing. And so I started realizing, similar to what you said, it's now a problem solution world. And by, I think it was December, I joined Ryan Pineda's mastermind.
Yeah.
And I kept wanting this like divine knowledge, but this whole course was around two words, CAC, PBP. And I kept wondering, like, what are these things? And basically it was the cost to acquire a client and your payback period.
Yeah.
And so when I realized like these were these two metrics that all of the big dogs that I've followed on the internet and like learned from were tracking, it made it so much simpler for me. So I'm curious from your side, what are the metrics you see agents not tracking that once they do track it, like the shining light is there, they feel so much better?
So the one that a lot of agents don't track that I just feel like it's just such a no-brainer is how many people are you talking to a day? Like, and it's, if you talk to him, one of the people that I follow, he always says, if you talk to 20 people a day, all of your business problems go away. Because they want to look at social media metrics, and I think those things are important. But how many people are you actively talking to every single day? And I feel like just as a business owner too, we run funnels where people can sign up without talking to anybody. And I'll be honest, I do love those.
Yeah.
But it's, are you picking up the phone and talking to people? I don't think that's going away because of AI.
Yeah.
I do, like, look, I had an appointment setter after one of our webinars, AI caller, set up 22 appointments. Still picked up the phone, talked to individuals, got them on a Zoom, and walked them through the process. I just feel like one of the most simple ones that it's still, no matter how much AI comes into the world, are you talking to people and creating relationships?
And what's an answer you usually hear from it? Like when you hey, how many people are you talking to? What do you usually hear?
I don't know. Like, because they don't know. They aren't tracking it and they don't have a number. So I just feel like even with all the AI in the world, it's still a human business.
Yeah.
And there's so many people that just have no idea how many people they talk to. And they just go on there, they want to post more on social media, great. You'll get like people reaching out to you, which is great. But you got to talk to people.
So I see a huge insecurity with like some of the agents I know, but I also see it with like some home service businesses where they love AI. For example, they might give you and your team an amazing review. I love this. You guys are the best company to help us. But what they don't do is they don't communicate to their clients. This is now a tool they have. How do you, I guess, give confidence to a business owner that they can tell their client they're using AI without feeling like it diminishes their value?
It all comes down to properly positioning it.
Okay.
It's about what is in it for the end user, right? Is this going, like, I don't really lead with AI. what does this actually do for the end user? We are going to give you instant responses 24/7 by utilizing this tool. It just so happens to be AI.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what do people really like? They want fast, easy responses, right? So if you're integrating that into your business, great. I actually have something where you can call in 24/7, ask any question you want. It will know your documents. It will know everything about you, and you get answers 24/7. Do you want to access that number? Absolutely. They don't care that it's AI because it's not like a robocaller where you call into the bank and it's like, press 1, no. It sounds like a person. It gives you instant answers and it can talk back and forth.
So I've messed this up, and I don't know if I've said this on a podcast, but I've definitely said it like privately. The worst mistake I've made with AI so far was drinking too much coffee the day I found 11 Labs. So basically what happened was we already had ads running. There were 2 ad sets that were, like most of our leads were coming from those 2 ad sets. It was traditionally a instant form text sequence, and I switched it to instant form robocaller. Big mistake I made was I don't have an agreement with myself. So when I build, a lot of these legal guidelines that are normally in the spec just don't make it. And what was so interesting was it was speed. So the trigger was instant form fills out, 30 seconds later, call hits.
Yeah.
And like most business owners, they do their shopping at 1, 2, 3 in the morning. 6 for 6. It's brokers, mortgage office owners, and service-based companies, and they all answered. And this was like a new human behavior that kind of proved a lot of my fears wrong, which is when the intent is there, they pick up the phone. And some of these audio recordings, I'll play one for a reel when we edit this.
Yeah.
The lady's like, it's 1 a.m. Why are you calling me right now?
Yeah.
And it's, hey, this is Hope from Reshape Social. Totally understand you. Yeah. So one of the things I realized was A, you've got to set your time parameters, but B, it doesn't work if the human touch is gone. And I think this is like a fine line that I don't think we're there yet, but I want to timestamp. What are some of the ways you've taken human touch and then baked that into an AI system without trying to necessarily replace the human touch? Because I think that's the line I'm realizing most people don't know how to dance.
So taking the human touch and baking it into an AI system, I feel like...
Where it's not replacing it.
Where it's not, so it's where it's not replacing the human
so this
touch.
is, and let me give you more context. So the thing I'm seeing is we all can automate an email and see the EM dashes and basically know that no one's going to read it.
Yeah.
It's like AI slop, it's out the window.
Right.
There's other things I agree with you where that personal touch isn't going to get automated and it doesn't need removed. What I'm trying to understand is the middle, right? Those automated voice messages, those funnel texts. How have you found the best way to bake the human touch into the AI with still keeping them separate?
Well, I feel like it's understanding what part of the sequence and what part of the funnel you are actually building them into, right? Like when it's speed to lead, and one thing that we do when we work with individuals is give us all the text that you have previously sent, right? Like audio recordings, voice recordings, transcriptions that you have, emails that you have, social media posts that you have, and then building that into the knowledge brain first. So it does start to sound like them at certain points. So I don't know if that's what you're referring to.
No,
as far as what is the brain that we are feeding this? Because if you're feeding it just set it up for me and I want whatever is done, it's going to sound like AI and it's not going to work. So it's the data that actually drives all of this, because AI is really just, it's predictability. Yeah. It's predicting what the next word should be, which is why hallucinations come in, because it predicts one wrong word and it predicts everything wrong, right? So we all think that AI is magically coming up with all this. It's literally just word prediction based on what somebody is saying, right? So if you have more data, that means it has more prediction based on what you are saying to have it be more similar to you.
So I always watch these podcast clips. You ever seen sandbox sessions? You know what I'm talking about?
I have not, no.
So these guys always go, is it appropriate for a grown man? And then they'll say something completely normal. So my question for you, is it appropriate for a grown adult as a business owner to not have a knowledge base in 2026?
Absolutely not. It's one of the most ridiculous things that you can do, because then it's literally, you're going to sound like everybody else. It's going to be AI slop because it has no context for what it's actually doing. And I feel like that's going to be one of the most valuable, because look, everybody is going to have AI agents. Everybody's going to have AI texters, AI callers, these things running back and forth. So what is going to set yours apart from everybody else? Yes, we can go scripts, but most good people are going to have scripts, objection handles.
Yeah.
How much knowledge do you have cooked up into this to act as the brain that will get it to be more like you?
Yeah. So I was pushed pretty hard at one of our last mastermind calls where it was like, if you had to kill everything in your business today and make one new offer, what would it be? And I thought knowledge base as a service is going to be the biggest need for almost every business over the next couple years. And when I think about this, I realize that everything we were talking about before this was rolling was just catching up. We were talking about the services we offer.
Yeah.
And there's this really interesting thing I see happening. And for anyone out there that's resistant to AI, I would say this is probably like the serious part of the podcast. I'm having a lot of young kids reach out to me that are, I would say, like 23 and under, but they have a business. And there's a unique behavior with how they request services that I've never seen from someone over the age of 30, which is they are sending me their entire, whether it's GPT, Gemini, or Claude, they're basically sending me a 4-hour conversation summed up into a, can you make this and tell me the price? And what's super interesting about this is it's a new behavior, because when you talk to someone or you're pitching, you're explaining the benefits, you're feeling objections, whereas what this is they're having that intimate conversation with, let's call it the engine in their language model.
Yeah.
And then they're giving the specs of that to the provider. So what I can do as the provider then, faster service, I don't have to ask questions, and I'm actually probably going to produce a better result for them than anyone else I work with. And what this has shown me is that there's this new behavior where they're making a knowledge base before they ask for the service. And I see this happening, especially with the younger crowd, because what's changing is they're not necessarily the best realtor. They're definitely not the best roofer. They're not the best landscaper. And what's very interesting is if they just do enough research correctly and they record their calls first, it may actually be a lower quality transcript, but it's better than nothing. And I'm seeing this start to happen where I'm like, oh man, like if people aren't aware of the knowledge base, like this is a new risk.
And I feel like, to me, this is building a business off of speculation, right? Like, it's not real world problems that were solved. It's made up problems or made up scripts and made up objections that AI thinks people would have, and then basing your entire system based off of something that never actually happened. A problem that didn't occur. And I'm sure you've dealt with this where you build something and you think these things will be the problem, and then you actually deploy it, and then you figure out there's a whole new set of problems. And those things that you try to build for months didn't actually happen. So like, as a business owner, I'm sure you know it's always launching something, testing it, and then being able to get real life feedback. And if you've never actually done what you are trying to build, AI it's not magic and just knows exactly how people are going to react. So I feel like there's a lot of people, and I see this in the AI space too, building things off of speculation, never tested, never proven, and it's anybody can vibe code an app or like build something overnight now.
It's the so the refinement is what's interesting, and this is where I'm trying to go deeper with the question is that these, let's call it kids, they have a speed to testing and a data collection system that some of the most successful people ages 40, 50, and 60 aren't aware exists. That's the new thing that I'm seeing happening, meaning they're going to record every call this summer.
You're saying the young kids? Ah, I see what you're saying.
They're recording every call, even if it's not as skilled as the 50-year-old.
I see what you're saying.
And this is like, you see this behavior happening where the people who, let's say, are taking, not even age related, the people who are taking your advice first may actually be lower in human skills, but due to the actual acknowledgement and organizing of their knowledge, they're getting a better output. Have you seen this yet?
I have not seen it. I can't say confidently I've seen one way or another on this.
It's super interesting to me because it's made me even reflect on like, how do I lead my team? And what it's actually led to is like, for example, every Sunday night I have a standing meeting with me and I would call it like the operators of the team. That would be the call where I would say I got my brain dump out. And I've actually moved that to now be like a Friday afternoon, Saturday morning walk with the dog. So I'm actually spending 3 to 4 hours with my language model, and then I'm deploying that into the meeting afterwards. And so this is like a new behavior I'm seeing where I agree there is the risk of speculation, which is if I go on a side tangent, everyone's gonna be like, great, dude, did you film the ads?
So I was more so talking about speculation where they're going to AI to come up with the answers without them actually knowing it themselves. That's what I thought you were framing it as.
No. What's interesting is they're going to AI with the problems. The real engine problems. And they don't know the solution. And that's like a new behavior that's interesting to me because they have the humility to be honest with their language model. They know what they don't know. And then they're basically willing to test faster than I've ever seen. And that's where I was bringing up earlier. I'm seeing a new skill develop.
And I feel like that skill of being able to properly identify your problem is going to be one of the greatest skills you can have because the AI can virtually do anything. So are you able to properly articulate the problem, be able to go to the tool to get the solution? I see a lot of people, the big mistake I see people make is think tool first. Like, what tool do I need? And they get something I call AI tool addiction, where it's like, oh, this tool can do that, this tool can do that, this tool. Did you even need a website?
My current one, I would say Manus is probably the most addicting. In terms of no output, but like it feels really good to see it do that. Because seriously, like I'd say right now, probably my 3 favorite language models, I would say GPT is like the girlfriend from high school that knows my family, but she's the girl from back home.
Yeah.
Claude is very powerfully agentic. I like how much action it suggests and how much it can do. And Gemini's like that sleeper where I see it like slowly.
Do not sleep on Google, bro. They got all of the data.
They have so much data.
They have all the data and all the money in the world. Like, do not sleep on Google with what they're doing.
Yeah, so like Google's biggest win for us is like we've always stored our end files in Drive.
Yeah.
And I never really understood that other than Katie's organized and I appreciated it.
Yeah.
Having the ability to now talk to a file base that big has been like, honestly, just a blessing.
Yeah.
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 So for you right now, let's just timestamp this because it's interesting. We're in April of 2026. What are some of your favorite language models and why? Without starting any new addictions for the viewer.
Oh, without starting any new ones? Okay.
I just want to hear your maybe top three.
I mean, Claude.
And has that switched in the last year?
Yes. So, I mean, for the longest time, we've been sticking with ChatGPT solely for the fact that it's been like a cycle, right? They all kind of catch up with each other. But for the last like 4 cycles, ChatGPT has not caught up whatsoever with Claude. So really diving into that. I would say OpenClaw is one that, we're just actively doing just because we're testing it out.
Real question, how many Mac Minis do you guys have?
0.
Okay.
0.
So you can run OpenClaw without a Mac Mini?
Yep.
Okay.
You can. But we've wiped the entire laptop. So like that's...
So it's a clean top.
Okay. Yeah, it's a clean top. I'm going to start a new addiction anyway. So for me, there's a private large language model that's SOC2 compliant that has a lot of agentic and things built into it called Whoozy, which I'm running a lot of our operations and things from. So essentially it's privatized. So this is where like I actually upload all of my data, all of my security and things into it.
So talk to people about the compliance, right? Because this is something that I've seen. It to the uneducated, it's an easy fear to latch onto, but to the educated, it's just a parameter. So what did you guys look into for compliance, or was this just a tool that had it?
It's a tool that had it, so we went directly to that. But dude, I have an entire research and development team that we've actually built now. So they're the ones running our entire operations. I'm not even, this is where it's like, if I learn how to do this, great, I become exponential. If I get 5 people who know how to do this and they all become exponential and they create a sandbox where they're all playing together, now it's like I can bring all my crazy ideas to the team and one's building on Claude Cowork, one's building on OpenClaw, one's building on here, and they're all working together to figure out what is the best solution for it.
Yeah.
So that's the route that I've been really going is, how can I get as many people smarter than me who know how to build these things and know how to deploy it, and they all become exponential together. And I try to look at this as, what has every business principle always said? Surround yourself with people smarter than you.
Yep.
Am I knowledgeable enough to go into this? Absolutely. Can I figure it out? I'm sure I can. But now I'm like, how do I just hire people who are smarter than me in this, and then also partner with individuals like former Microsoft AI engineers who are building some things to be able to bring ideas to then bring it to the public?
Let me ask you this, because this was something I snapped at like 2 weeks ago.
All right.
So tell me if this is controversial or not. I don't need any button clickers. I only need thinkers.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
that's not controversial at all.
Okay.
Every person on our team knows now, they're like, if you don't figure out how to do this, you will be replaced, period. And it's...
So let me ask, because I had this talk 2 weeks ago and I feel like it was late.
We had it about a month ago.
Okay.
Because like, I feel like up until that point, there were still a lot of intricacies. Like it wasn't as great as it is now. So for us, it was just really realizing like every member on our team has a duty and responsibility to learn this. We're not going to be the ones to teach you, because if that's the case, I could just do it myself.
Yeah, so did you see the Jerome Powell video where he goes, after we checked the inflated numbers, there was no job growth in the last 6 months?
No, I didn't see that.
Dude, I was like, I didn't even know we inflated them. But he goes into it, and basically what I took away from it is there's a lot of jobs that I wouldn't say are going away, but they're not being rehired. So what I've noticed on my team, so what I've seen, especially with my team, was when I made that call, it was basically, listen, the editing process is going to change a lot. You're going to be much more of a creative director than you are going to be an editor.
Yeah.
Identity shift is very hard for certain people that have been in an identity for 6 years.
Yeah.
And what was crazy was there were like 2 guys on my team that I've had since day one, and no joke, they were just done. I mean, like the one guy was like, listen, man, I've actually wanted to play music. Yeah. And I was like, cool, this is a good separation.
Yeah.
But then on the inverse, I had a couple people who I would call coasters come to me with this thing that was like a side project. And that's why I said I felt late, is I was like, man, these people were tinkering, not in my sandbox. Yeah. And I was like, man, that's a leadership mistake.
Yeah. Yeah. I believe that's one thing that we're looking at this too, is a lot of companies right now have AI anarchy. They bring on a trainer who teaches them one thing. They bring on a trainer next month who teaches them another tool. They bring on a trainer who teaches them another tool. And all of a sudden now you have everyone in your organization is playing in different sandboxes, trying different things.
It's like CrossFit 1 month, powerlifting the next, bodybuilding the next.
Yeah, and then you just create AI anarchy. You don't know what anybody's doing. There's no systems, there's no processes, and everyone's playing in their own sandbox.
Yeah.
What people need is an AI culture. And that first starts with what is the frame in which everybody thinks around this? A common phrase within the organization, for us, it's just anti-fragile.
Okay, explain what that means.
Anti-fragile, it's about your ego cannot be hurt because what you are just doing is being replaced.
Okay.
Right? Because if you're fragile, you're like, oh my gosh, this is gonna take my job. Oh my gosh, what just came out? I don't know what to do. Being anti-fragile is just like, oh, this just replaced this work. That means I can do more.
Yeah.
Oh, that means I can build more. So being anti-fragile in the AI movement is all about just being, your ego cannot be hit. You cannot be scared of this. You have to lean into it.
Yeah, so we were talking about before this. So right now it's almost 7 o'clock as we film, and I actually came here earlier to shoot ads.
Yeah.
And one of my buddies who's a programmer over at Wallet Guard, he sends me this message, and he's like, hey man, did you see the new Claude agents just came out? And I was like, no, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
But immediately I went into my Claude and I was like, listen, all my ad scripts, change them with whatever this new Claude agent feature is and just write the ads for that. And so and I couldn't have done that when I first met you.
Yeah,
Very serious. I would have been stuck in the identity of whatever the original ads were.
Yeah.
This would have felt like a personal attack to me and I would have been pissed. But
anti-fragile.
yeah, so how has leading with that changed your team? Like what have been some of those surprising awesomes where you're like, damn, didn't know you could do that?
I realized how smart a lot of people on my team are. And now that they have an open sandbox to go do these things, they're coming up with ideas, they're creating systems, and now I'm almost even stepping out of the seat of learning all of this. I gave them access to my private groups that I'm paying to be a part of. I'm like, you guys go learn it and tell me what I need to be knowing.
How has that shift been? Because I think when we spoke off camera,
it's hard.
Yeah.
Sorry, but yeah.
Yeah, when I saw you last time, I remember one of the things that was cool was the access that your business was getting you. You were getting to meet these like really intelligent people, and you were talking about how unique it was how they operate. Having like an AI for basically every inconvenience in their life, but also being hyper intentional with how they spend their time.
Yeah.
How has that group changed Nick the person?
I've had to become anti-fragile. And it's also taking a look at my identity too, because Alex, like, my identity has been tied into like being the smartest person on this. Like that's what this is. That's what the Krem Institute is I have to know everything. And all of a sudden something drops and I'm not the most educated on it. Then all of a sudden you feel less than. Then you got to learn that. And I fell into AI tool addiction. Because I have to know this tool, I have to know this tool, I have to know this tool. What if a client asks me about this and I'm not the most knowledgeable person in the world on this?
Then the whole company goes under.
Then the whole company goes under. And then you just get into this limited thinking mindset. And then I just took a step back. I take a look at my team. I took a look at some of my partners, what they are capable of doing. And I realized, look, this is like, how do you become a CEO in an AI powered world? Yeah. And it's not just replacing everybody. Because if one person can work 100 times more, what if you had 5 individuals in that same mentality were working 100 times more? And I know there are also some companies out there right now, they're actually going the opposite way. They're hiring more people who are capable with AI because they understand how much output that these people can create. So that's where I started looking and saying, I have to be the best facilitator of this in an environment that builds this. And my biggest thing is, what I was saying with other people is, clearly identifying the problem we are looking to solve. Because without that direction, you can go down the rabbit hole creating something and you wake up the next day after being up at 4 a.m. and say, why did I just build this, right? Like, yeah. And getting my people out of that rabbit hole and on the right track of what problem are we looking to solve and going deeper on that than anybody else.
Yeah, that seems to be the new proper route, I would say. And I think in the past there was a lot of, I guess, what have been some of the clarifying things? So because you've been so focused on what's the next problem, what are maybe some distractions that you don't feel you suffer from anymore that you used to?
I don't care about every tool that comes out.
Yeah.
I feel like I take a step back and see the big picture of where a lot of this is going. I don't care about every single tool that comes out, attending every single training that exists, learning every little bit about OpenClaw, because then all of a sudden Claude agent comes out and all of a sudden OpenClaw's dead. Now go do this. And it's just understanding like people aren't really actually solving problems. They're just going to the next shiny object. With AI, it's exponential shiny objects.
Yeah.
So taking a step back and saying, where is a lot of this going? What are problems that we could solve that are going to continue to be there in this ecosystem? I think the data and like your brain being a big part of this, because no matter where the tool goes, if you don't have this brain, the tool won't be smart. So no matter what updates the tool has, your brain is going to be one of the most valuable things that you have.
This will break your heart. So I did my first knowledge base on my computer right before the Tahoe update, and it changed my entire desktop structure at like 1 a.m. I'm like, oh, I should update before bed.
Yeah.
So that's actually been another thing that was very cool for me was when I built my first, I'm not talking like a saved Google Drive folder, but like actually structuring folders on my computer. It was the first time I would say my company structure felt real. Like I think I had a lot of meetings where it's like, you're this role, you're that role.
Yeah.
How much has looking at these things from a tech side changed how you look at the people side? Because like you said, right now it's how can I hire the smartest people?
Yeah.
Do you think this is giving you more clarity on what roles you actually want? Or do you think you've moved more to, I need to find character? Character can fix a problem.
I feel like character is always part of the equation, right? You want people who understand your values, understand the mission, that are going to show up. Like we have our core values and we hire and fire by them.
Okay.
Right? 100% accountability, zero excuses, show up and win the day. Those are our 3 core values, and that's what we build around. And then it's like, for me, it's not even just hiring too. Now we're forming partnerships with other individuals who are they are amazing engineers. And there's understanding, well, where do we fit into the equation?
Yeah.
Well, we understand the exact problem we're able to build, and now we're able to launch things together. So I feel like it's something that every leader is going to have to undergo, of taking a step back and saying, am I the best person from this job? Do I have somebody in my organization that can do this? Right? Like, I feel like every person in the country needs someone who's younger than 30 or on mushrooms to be able to really think about how AI works.
Capital vibe, lowercase coder.
Like, look, like you have to think differently with all of these things, right?
Yeah.
And understand that this is an ever-evolving ecosystem. This is exponential technology. We are just getting kicked off into agentic, which is then building and growing itself.
Its own environment, yeah.
It is its own environment. So everything you build on, I guarantee is going to change in a month.
Yeah.
Guarantee it.
And so I think this is where, to give people some calm through the, let's call it chaos of change, would you agree that the timeless principles, from what I'm hearing, having a knowledge base,
Yep.
not having no ego, but being aware of where your ego tries to steer you astray. Mm-hmm. And then I would say, finally, a acknowledgement of when it becomes tool addiction versus function improvement.
Yeah, you have to be able to frame it, structure it, and evaluate. If you're not evaluating what you are building, then you are just building shiny objects. And I feel like a part of this too is that I believe the future is fractional.
Yeah.
Where everyone will have a fractional AI consultant and developer within their organization that they will either hire within or hire out. And I feel like hire out is going to be the way to go.
Yeah.
Just because you don't need somebody you can't have somebody 24/7 if you find someone locally that's able to do it.
Yeah.
But I believe the future is fractional, where you just have fractional AI consultants and developers who are able to come in and identify a problem, build the ecosystem, and then be able to frame it, structure it, and evaluate it.
Yeah, so one of the things that I think I want to give a shout out to is my knowledge base and my Zoom recordings. Genuinely. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think this is one of those things that I get a lot of compliments of, like, oh, smart solution. The thing that I want people to hear, and I'm sure you're very similar, is like, I didn't build a lot of these solutions. I listened, like right now, if I check my Zoom, 1597 hours of people complaining, good and bad. Like, that's been the knowledge base I've built all of this from.
Yeah.
And so for you, like, how cool has it been to almost like see that have its own life? Because like, I don't know if you have any impressive stats, but like you've touched a lot of teams and agents, right?
I don't have any impressive stats like that to identify it, but
I mean, how often are you doing calls?
Just about every day.
Okay, so daily calls, all recorded.
Yes, and like it's one of those things where I didn't realize how great it was. Like, we've heard data, like, oh, biggest companies, data is the goal. If it's free, then you're the product. It's your data. I'm like, that's cool, but I didn't really understand data in that big picture until I had something to conceptualize it and analyze it.
Oh, this is good.
I'm like, wait, so that came up 62 times. Wow, that's a big problem, right?
Yeah.
And then you're able to take a look at this and create mind maps, create word maps, create different algorithms to like check it out. And I'm like, whoa, this is really cool.
And so I think that's where, when I look at the future of even like how we position ourselves, I'm sure you guys are, I think that's the new asset that when people are plugging in, like, for example, I have a client, it's very sad, she's got her second round of breast cancer coming back, but she's doing this huge charity event. And so I think it was the first time I wasn't invited to the call, my note taker was.
Yeah.
Where she's like, can you just jump on this Zoom? And I was like, okay, yeah. And my ClickUp note taker is named Robot Jones.
Okay.
It has no picture.
Yeah.
And the lady who was like, I guess, picking the speakers goes, and Mr. Jones, I'll take your bio now. And no one had the nerve to tell her. And I'm like, shit, I have to tell her. And I go, that's a robot.
Yeah.
He's not actually here. And she thought I was like insulting another man.
Yeah.
She goes, okay, I'll let him go.
Yeah.
And it hits me. I was like, oh man, like we're moving past a point where the call and the person on it matter. People are A, not recognizing that note takers exist, but B, I'm noticing that half the people understand you talk to the transcript and the people.
Yeah.
Like that's also another skill. Like have you noticed on certain calls, like I get this all the time.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll be like wrapping up a call, like it's at the end of the hour, I'll be like, all right, cool, man, talk to you next Tuesday. And they're like, wait, for the transcript. And they just like ramble to their diary. And sometimes
Really?
has nothing to do with
I haven't seen that.
Oh, dude, it's
No, I could definitely see how that would happen.
So I'm pretty open with everyone I work with of like, I'm going to use this transcript to do the deliverable.
Yeah.
And what's funny is they almost treat it, they'll go, oh, and for the recording. Like I've had people just like tasks have nothing to do with our service.
Yeah.
So they could be like a content client. They're like, by the way, need to pick up my daughter from soccer at 8
Oh
tonight.
my gosh.
Because they know my note taker is going to put their tasks in.
Yeah.
And so I'm starting to see this where it's like the note taker itself is like a new character on the call.
Yeah. That's interesting. No, I have not seen that. I haven't had somebody do that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's wild. So on top of that, I'm also seeing this new trend where the summary becomes like their only notes, if that makes sense. So like, for example, every time we do a call, there's like a fixed prompt per client, and then it changes if we like change deliverables, and then they send them that summary. Then they're taking that summary, and that's like what they play with their AI for. And so I'm realizing there's like this distillation of info that's now happening that's outside of a video we post, a blog we write, or a website we make. And it's been very interesting. Like, what are some of the things that you've started seeing that aren't necessarily full services yet, but are definitely things people appreciate about your company that would just be a feature in your head?
Man, so
like I think community is huge for you guys.
Yeah, community is really big for us. And, you know, I feel like it's a feature that we are providing. Oh, dude, it is like, okay. It is the notes. Everybody asks for the notes after each call. Like, can you make sure that you send me the notes? Can you make sure you get this? And we send it out to them. Like, yeah, it's already in your email.
Dave Chappelle, you got those notes?
Yeah, and I feel like, to me, it's just the notes. Yeah, we put it into our knowledge base and we use it. But like, they do intricately go through it and identify each different part. And it didn't click on me until you really asked. I'm like, what is a feature? Dude, they love the notes. It is kind of insane how many people, like after the call, like, hey, did you get the note recording? Did you get this? And they'll ask it inside of our school community.
Yeah.
And they're just all asking.
Yeah.
That's what they care about. And it blows my mind because to me, I'm like, this is just data. But like, they go through it. They go through the action steps, read it back and forth.
Yeah.
And then, you know, like just other things we do. Then we take the notes, we transcribe, we put them into bullet points, and then we put it into the documents. Simple things to do, but yeah, I feel like the notes is definitely a big one.
Yeah, I've had guys where I tell them, I'm like, hey, when Zoom ends, it's going to be 30 minutes to process. Like, we've been on for 2 hours. And they're like, dude, can you just send it now? And I'm like,
it doesn't work
exist
like
yet,
that,
buddy.
yeah.
I have a fun little segment I want to do at the end here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you things.
He's like, don't look.
What I want you to do is give me a 1 if it's stupid, doesn't matter anymore, move on.
Cool.
Or 10 is like, do this, get aware of it. It's
so important. Is it not in between, just 1 or 10?
You can go anywhere in the middle.
Okay.
So 1. Recording calls.
10.
Using your transcripts to do tasks.
To do tasks. 8.
Okay. Using 1 language model.
1.
Using 4 language models, but they all don't talk to each other.
2.
Okay. I want to throw you a curveball here.
All right.
Using a knowledge base for things that only help you make money.
10.
Okay. I said only for things that make you money. Still 10?
Yeah, still a 10. What do you mean? What else is there?
Health.
Okay, you can do that too.
Okay.
But
last one here. Saying I'll learn this in 2 months and relying on old systems.
1.
Okay. So as we go through that, it's pretty obvious. I kind of knew where those answers would be. But when I think about it, I've had so many people that fight those topics ruthlessly. So if you hear someone fighting those topics, what do you think is the actual issue?
Cognitive dissonance. They're fighting themselves and they're fighting what their real reality is. And they say that they're busy and their busy tasks are just filled with complete nonsense. It just happens a bunch. I mean, it even happened before AI. People are like, oh, I need to do this. I need to check emails. I need to go outside. I need to check this. Have you talked to 20 people today?
Yeah.
If you haven't, there is nothing more important than that.
Get to 20.
Yeah, so I feel like people have this mental block that they're just unwilling to come over. And I have a saying, I can't help losers win. I only help winners win bigger.
Okay.
And if they aren't able to overcome that, I am not your life coach to help you overcome that. When you have that awakening, come back.
Yeah. Okay, so I now want to ask on the outside of business side, because this is where I've actually had a lot of fun, and I think using AI to make my life better has helped my business solving problems.
Yeah.
What are some of the things you've changed in your personal life since, let's call it 2023?
Oh, the best thing I did was creating literally playlists of songs about my goals, about my dreams, about my ambitions. So like if I'm writing emails, I'm going through like using obviously AI to help write emails, but I'll create a song around the end result I want from this and where my company is going, and then create like 10 variations and then just jam that out. So now I'm like jamming to like, oh yeah, this is why I'm writing emails. This is why I'm doing it.
Okay, so I wanted to ask you about this because I remember you did this at one of the education events I saw you at. So I'm very intentional about my music, but I've never actually touched an AI music generator.
Dude, Suno, you will love Suno. Okay. It actually creates good music. But what I found is, so I have like a song that I created for when I want to go hang out with family. Because it's hard to switch my brain from business mode to family mode. It's almost always on business mode.
I think I just have Family Business by Kanye, and that's about it.
So like, it's about tricking my brain, because if you read Think and Grow Rich, the 10 different ways that influence your thinking,
so this is the thing.
before is music.
Music is very powerful, and that's what I'm trying to say. I've actually been very intentional, like since I started my business, like no Young Thug, like like it's got to stop. But I've been very intentional of like abundant music, right energy. I want the lyrics to match how I feel in life, but I've never stepped into the realm of self-creation. How did that start for you? Was it like, these are artists and energy I like, deploy, mix with knowledge base?
So it actually started because I created a song for listing. So it's like you're creating a music listing video for every one of your listings. So you create a song for every single listing. I'm like, what else can I create a song with? And I created one for myself, and I'm like, that's pretty cool. So then I went down a list. And I actually said, if I do these habits every single day, it's when I wanted to lose weight, right? Okay. So if I do these habits every single day.
By the way, you were chunkier last time.
I was a lot chunkier, yeah, thank you.
Good job, dude.
But if I do these habits every single day, then I'm gonna lose weight. I'm like, what if I take these habits and put it in a song and make it like Eminem?
And then start.
And then I started listening to it, I'm like, I literally, like, there were times I went to eat more, and then I'm like, no, I fast just to feel the pain. And that's like one of the lyrics. So I'm like, no, like that's not what I do. And then I started realizing, this is powerful. So I created songs for working out. I created songs when I'm stressed. I created songs when I'm doing different tasks. And then I created an entire playlist. And I jam out. And all of a sudden I'm like, I'm liking this work that I'm doing.
So were you a big music guy before you got into all this business? Like, are you a guy that like secretly plays the guitar really well?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. I mean, I liked music. And of course I like jamming out to music, but I was never very intentional with my music.
Yeah.
But then after this, dude, I just listened to these songs on repeat over and over and over and over and over again, because I believe you get what you think about most of the time.
Yeah.
We've all had lyrics that are just stuck in our head that we can't get out. So I'm like, why not make it my goals?
Damn, I like that. No, that changed. I was very skeptical on the music side, but it's been like this weird thought in the back of my head where I'm like, once I knowledge base a lot of the business and the tasks and the daily, I'm going to get to a point where it's like putting my favorite movies in.
Yeah.
Like, define where, like, actually a really interesting one I do is if I'm watching, like, there's certain movies, Truman Show, Matrix, I'll actually, when I'm struggling in business, I'll be like, identify what scene I would be in the movie right now.
Ooh.
Let me work through this.
I like that.
Yeah, and like the one that was super painful was when I was watching The Matrix, I never actually understood the scene when Neo walks in to see the Oracle, and he's a pessimist. And she's like, I already know how this ends.
Yeah.
And I caught myself because I was like, damn, so many times I'm thinking I know the future is negative and I will be right every time.
Every time.
Keep thinking that.
You know, another fun one that I've done is I've uploaded the Bible into it. And then I said, here's what I'm currently going through in life. Find me the verses that I can relate to and create me a custom sermon.
That's been the most requested custom GPT.
Really?
I've never talked about that. Yeah, what'll happen is I get on a call with someone. It'll be for like something little, like quote a job. And they're like, by the way, like, is there any chance I can get more in touch with my faith? And I'm like, there's Bible GPTs out there.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, so let me ask you more questions. What are the fun personal uses you've had? Because like I could geek out with like the amount of things I've done. Like probably my favorite, I got to show you this just to get a live reaction. So I have 2 dogs. One, I adopted believing he was a golden retriever.
Yeah.
Did a DNA test. He's an Australian Shepherd Basset Hound Boxer mix, which is way more than I signed up
Right.
for. And then when we moved last year in August, my fiance always wanted to get a dog, so our cat passed away that was more hers. And she got a full-bred Staffordshire Pit Bull. So I was like, all right, like we're gonna have to train him.
Yeah.
So I basically made a Chewy and Silly trainer. And what this is it's a deep research project where I basically gave the breeds and said, go find the best trainers in the world and make a 20-page PDF on their training ideology.
Yeah.
I put that into the knowledge base, and then I told it what I do with the dogs. So it's like I go to Taps and Tails, which is an awesome place in Tremont. I go to these other dog parks and these trails. So it knew what my situations were. And then I made it do a 1-hour interview with me about the dogs and then with Katie about the dogs. And so now at any point in time after something bad happens, right, you go to the dog park and they get snippy with another dog, I can ask about why they're doing their behavior. And it's actually turned me into like this informal trainer at Taps and Tails where now when dogs beef, everyone kind of is like, get off your computer, buddy.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Well, yeah, what are some of the fun ones you've had?
It's like some of the phones that I personally enjoy is like doing deep research on historical figures and then creating Steven Spielberg style epics and then clicking read aloud. And then it's like custom stories. Because then I could go like deep into specific battles. Like Julius Caesar, I love reading about him. There's a couple books that I read over and over. But then it's like, I want to know more about this specific battle. Like, what other quotes can you pull from it? What was his thinking on it? So we'll draft all of it up in deep research, and then I'll tell it to turn into a Steven Spielberg style epic, and then click read aloud.
Do you think deep research is the most underappreciated AI feature?
I think it is one of the most underappreciated ones.
I didn't use it, honestly, until about 3 months ago.
Oh, really?
No.
I mean, but then you have Perplexity, which is basically...
It's pretty close. I mean, it's potent, but I think it was more of a, let me say it this way. It was more of having an intentional act that I can have an agent or a language model doing deep research on things that I don't need a human to go research. Like, I wouldn't make a human go research my favorite, like, dog breed trainers,
right, I want to make them go research Julius Caesar.
It's a sidetrack for the main goal, but what I did realize is it's like, I have all these interests that honestly just never get satisfied, and maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's our safe addiction route, is like, let it happen on the side. But I've started doing it even with, like, what we do. So I've tried to make deep research, go out and basically like look at all the offers that are similar to ours and then identify where we might not have something. That's been like the most practical use.
I will say, for me, the one thing I'm the biggest on right now, AI search.
Okay.
I believe like all of the models and things are going to change. Consumer behavior is changing in front of our eyes.
Another 1 to 10? YouTube Shorts.
10. Absolute 10.
So this is a behavior I've noticed on the content side.
Yeah.
It was a special bonus if I threw that in 24. It is now the first thing on the lead form.
Absolutely. Dude, like AI search is going to dramatically change the way all consumers behave because I believe that is the modern referral.
I believe it's called, what is it?
AEO, GEO, SEO.
No, there was another one okay, I think he called it clickless search.
Oh yeah, because like 60% of Google searches end in 0 click now.
Yeah, well, it was kind of the belief that they're not going to browse options. They're going to ask a hyper-specific question, and you're going to like... beep.
Exactly. And like, that's just where it's at right now. Like what we're seeing is physical AI. So like Johnny Ive and Sam Altman, obviously CEO of OpenAI, Johnny Ive, the guy who designed the iPhone, Mac computer and everything else, they've teamed up. And at the end of Q4 this year, maybe Q1 next year, they're releasing an AI agent that's a screenless device, 100 million in their first production. And it literally will be your companion. Have all the data on you, all the information, be able to access your emails, be able to access everything.
Are we talking like a Plod Pin type size or what?
Like, yeah, they say it's going to be like a jump drive. So like that's what they're predicting. It'll be like a jump drive. And that's just the first one of all of these other ones, like wearable AI, physical AI. You listen to Elon Musk, Sam Altman, all these different people, Zuckerberg. Physical AI is where all of this is going, where you literally just talk to the device. Hey, can you check my emails for me today and read them off? Read through the emails. Okay, respond to this, this, and this.
Ooh,
like Elon is saying like email won't even really exist in the form that we know it now.
So my best friend from college has worked at Tesla since 2020. They are cutting 2 models that are profitable to save robot space in their new factories.
Dude, like...
And it was one of those moments where I heard that and I was like, man, like that, when you cut off something profitable, you know that there were shareholder meetings where that had to be justified.
Yeah.
So I want to do a new 1 to 10.
All right.
All right. So this is going to be for jobs and their safety. 10 meaning you're fully safe. 1 means robots taking it. Ready? Okay. Pressure washing.
2.
Yeah. Basic drywall.
Well, okay.
So this, and the reason I say this,
individual cases inside of homes, I'd say like a 6.
Yeah.
Commercial, probably like a 3, maybe 2.
Siding.
Again, on houses that are very intricate, this is where even self-driving cars right now, a lot of them only work within cities and fair weather places, right? Because when it does come to a problem that an actual human takes over, I don't know if you saw that court case, an actual human takes over. So them being able to cognitively think based on even walking on the lawn and getting to the right places.
So the reason I asked this is the most recent custom GPT was a scary one. It's a roofing company. They already have these softwares like Hover and Xactimate.
Yeah.
The custom GPT is not to make the quote perfect. It's to account for what the other software can't find. J channels, where does it need trim? Yeah. And so if you think about it, that is the knowledge base that we're talking about is currently missing.
So for siders on houses, I would say a 5.
Yeah.
Commercial, 2, 3. Because that's just large scale, put them in a system and run.
Deploy.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you think that people, especially let's call it physical service businesses, how far away do you think we actually are from some 5'8" robot actually being able to help with the process? Because this is one of those things.
Help with the process or do the entire process?
Both. I want to hear both answers.
I would say 5 years for helping, 10 for actually doing.
This is one of those.
That's a purely speculation.
So I'm
right?
So I'm wildly bullish on this for the sole reason of home inspection. I actually think is at the highest risk.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, there is already technology that can read through walls. There's already.
But here's the thing: innovation happens at the speed of adoption.
Correct.
Right. Maybe on the West Coast they adopted earlier, but Midwest, you talk to most people, I don't even want a robot in my home, let alone doing all these tasks and showing up to do things. So I feel that's a big piece that a lot of the, look, they want all these robots and things to happen, but it happens at the speed of adoption. People need to get more comfortable with it before it starts getting very
Because you would agree that the solutions your team can come up with probably exceed what's implemented on a daily basis because of exactly what you're saying. Adoption is what matters more than fanciest build.
I think it's what matters the most. And to me, again, that's why I'm just going back. AI search, man, that is one area that we are focusing on very heavily because everybody is going to ask their AI for every single answer. And it's going to become their most trusted advisor because a lot of them are going to be baked in to agree with them. So it always agrees with me. Hey, who's the best person to work with? Okay, call them.
Yeah.
That's going to be the customer journey.
So did you do much, I would say, in the 2015 to 20 period with SEO?
2015? No, not much at all.
So I did very little, I would call it, in 2018 to 20. And it was so interesting to see, I call it a similar behavior, where back then I would call it keyword lacing was really more important.
Yeah.
How have you felt that the answer has gained more value? Because I think that's what I've seen a lot of, when I watch the AEO content, is it seems almost like you start with an answer in mind and reverse engineer what question could be asked.
So we actually do the opposite.
Okay.
We look at what are the questions that people are asking right now. You can go to a place like Answer the Public and it will tell you exactly what people are searching for based on what you have.
Okay.
And then you clearly identify the question in the first part of your content, in the first 50 to 200 characters, clearly give the answer with the source.
Let the robots beep.
Yeah, it's literally, because that's what the AI does. Who is answering this question? They just want the simplest answer. If you're wait to the end of the video to get the answer, they're gonna be next, somebody else is gonna give it to me like that.
Yeah, you'll love this one tip at the end.
Literally, we're moving from an attention-based society to a trust-based society.
Yeah.
So I think that whole part, wait to the very end of the video, we want the humans to gain their attention. No, what is the question? What is the answer? What is the source?
Yeah.
You do that right away, as they are trustworthy.
Yeah, they might watch it then.
Yeah.
So for people that don't know you, give a shameless pitch. What have you guys been up to this year? And if people do need your help, what does that look like?
Go to krem.ai to get all of your answers, KREM.ai. And if you want to become the answer in answer engine optimization, we're the place to go to.
Dude, thank you for returning.
Yeah.